Okay, so I wanted to do a quick video on emotional frequencies and why you might have been doing really well a week ago and today you're not, or every day just seems like it's getting harder and harder and harder. Have you ever been around someone and that person was was just like it like their emotions and their frustrations, or I guess technically, I mean, even their positive emotions. Like, have you ever been around someone who is really positive and is upbeat, and something inside of you resonates, and and you just get happy just being with them or around them because it resonates with you, and it really does feel like this resonation, where it's like a vibration inside your body. Have you ever felt that? I know I have. I've also felt it on the opposite end. If someone's frustrated and someone's angry, I have felt that as well. Like, I have literally felt that. And so something that I was introduced to about 7 years ago was the Emotion Code and the Body Code by Dr. Bradley Nelson. And Dr. Bradley Nelson is a holistic chiropractor, and he offered a free webinar. And I was like, okay, I'll learn about like trapped emotions in our physical body, because I was like, I feel like I probably have a lot. Like, I feel like my happiness is there, but it felt like I had to really try to get the happiness to the surface, almost to the point of where I felt like I was faking it, but I really felt like it was inside of me. And so I was like, I feel like I'm going through mud, and I would love to learn how to manage those emotions, or how to release them, or what's going on, because I would much rather be in control of like how I want to feel, right? And I just kind of felt like it just made sense. So he taught about the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. So the conscious mind is similar to like our desktop or like a computer, where you see like your apps on the surface, right? And then the subconscious mind is kind of like all of the behind the scenes, all of the coding, and there's a whole bunch of commands and a whole bunch of energy exchanges, right? Communication behind the scenes. And yeah, so that made a lot of sense to me. And I got trained as an emotion code practitioner back, I think it was like 5 or 6 years ago. And I have clients all over the world. And the last year, I've had several requests to help out people, but I've been busy with other entrepreneurial adventures, and so I haven't really been able to help them. But I wanted to just briefly explain why you might be feeling overwhelmed today, and maybe yesterday you weren't, or why maybe when you're around someone, like you get frustrated or you get angry. So I wanted to explain that. And so these are tuning forks, and do you see? So ideally, it would be best if I had two tuning forks that were of the same frequency for this example. But just assume that this tuning fork was the same frequency as this tuning fork. So I'm gonna hit this one, and you can probably hear it. And so there's a high pitch noise, and then there's like a lower vibration noise. And so if this tuning fork was tuned to the same frequency, this one would actually start ringing. Or if I had like a G, and if I hit the G, and I had a string instrument in that same room, that string instrument would actually start vibrating. So what's happening is that those trapped emotions in our physical body, and also happy emotions, like I'd much rather have happy emotions in my body than I'd have trapped emotions. But so pretty much any kind of emotion, right? So if this is like, if someone is happy, oh, sorry. Okay, I gotta lift this up, my hockey puck. If someone's happy, and if we are tuned to that same frequency, we're gonna start resonating with that. I mean, you have heard the expression, like, I just don't resonate with that, right? Have you ever heard that expression? Someone say, I just don't resonate with that. Like, that doesn't ring true to me, right? Example, like totally an example. Which is why like this one was ringing and this one wasn't, because they weren't tuned to the same frequency. So what happened? So let's pretend like this is a trapped emotion, right? And let's say at the age of 4, so I'll give you an example of this. At the age of 4, I had a trapped emotion. I don't remember what the emotion was. This was what I learned on that webinar. So after the webinar was done and complete, I was like, I'll give this a shot. Sure, why not? And I found that I had a trapped emotion from the age of 4 years old, and it was stuck in my bladder. Like, that's how specific you can actually get, that your body knows exactly why it's sad. Your body knows exactly why it's hurting. Your body even knows at what capacity your organs are functioning at. Your body knows that. But there's this like disconnect with our conscious mind, right? So our subconscious mind knows all these things because our subconscious mind is the one that's actually working, is the one that's sending white blood cells, is the one that's knowing how hard it's working and what nutrition you need. I mean, so these are things that your body or your body knows, but maybe it's not getting to your conscious mind. So after the webinar, I found that I had a trapped emotion from the age of 4, and it was actually in my bladder. And I didn't know if I was doing this right. I didn't even know if this was even a real thing. I just knew that I felt like I probably had some baggage that I wanted to get rid of. So how Dr. Bradley Nelson teaches how to clear it is he takes a magnet and he goes down your governing meridian. And you can do this on yourself. You can even act as proxy for someone else. But I did this on myself, and I found I had a trapped emotion from the age of 4. And so I had the intention of clearing it. And I just went 1, 2, 3, and my bladder just dropped. And you should have seen my expression. Like, my mouth was just wide open, and I'm sure my eyes were just like, what just happened? And I that one emotion changed intimacy for me forever. Like, prior to that one emotion, it was painful. Like, being intimate was painful. After that one emotion, it was no longer painful for me. So then I knew, I was like, okay, that physically changed my body. Teach me more. And I actually became an emotion code practitioner. And like I said, I have clients all over the world. But it's been really fun. And so what's been really kind of nice is during this crazy time, I've been able to actually, I'm able to understand energetically what's happening. So what I have found is that as I have done these clearings on myself, and there's constant things that are always coming up, and I'm like, I had no idea I had an issue about this, right? But as I'm coming to realize, like, if someone is frustrated and that starts resonating inside of me, then I know that I have frustration somewhere deep inside of me. And the last couple of weeks, I've actually been thinking, I'm Christian, and I've been thinking a lot. I've been thinking a lot about the Savior, and I've been thinking a lot about how is he able to not be affected by other people's emotions, and how is he able to do that? And I was reminded of this idea of, like, resonating, right? So if someone has frustration, and if I have frustration inside of me, and I might have like several of these, like all over my body, right? When they are triggered, then it resonates inside of me, and that's why I get like anxious and concerned or frustrated, and then those other emotions start like resonating. So I don't even know if this is true or not, but it makes sense to me that maybe the reason why Christ was able to not be bothered by those who had like lower negative emotions that were just resonating within them, and he was able to be disconnected from that, kind of makes sense with the tuning fork idea, right? Where like, if they had it but he didn't have it inside of him, well then he wouldn't be resonating with that same frequency. So that was just kind of something I wanted to just kind of tell you. So, so here's a couple of tools which you can do. Okay, so if you are feeling scared, concerned, anxious, fearful, hopeless, even there's so many emotions that are going on in the world today. Yeah, I would recommend journaling about it and asking your subconscious mind, because your subconscious mind wants to clear these. So a really easy way which you can do this is through journaling, and you can actually write, I am scared because, and wait to see what comes up. And it might be an event, it might be an experience, it might just be the emotion, and then just keep journaling. I feel scared because, I feel scared because, I feel scared because, and see what comes up. And then if you are religious or spiritual, I would actually recommend just saying a prayer and just asking for that to be removed, and for light and truth and love and light to come into that, where that emotion was, and ask for like that to be cleared and to be healed. So that's what I would recommend. Or you can do the magnet thing, right? So just with the intention, looking at that sheet of paper and just going down 3 times, going, with the intention of actually clearing that. And because you are the steward over your body has to respond. And it may not respond in the way which my body did with that one emotion, but I have found that you might wake up better tomorrow. Like you might realize that other people's frustration and anxiety don't affect you as much, because you don't have as many of these tuning forks of frustration and anxiety and depression. So anyway, I hope that this is helpful, and I hope you have a great day, and we'll talk to you later.